Brought to you by...
If you're enjoying the content here, please consider supporting us on Patreon or Tippy. Alright friends, bringing this Halloween season to a spooky end, we hop on board with director David Gordon Green and erase the entire history of the franchise, pulling back to 1978 to the night he came home, and picking up 40 years after the Shape's violent rampage in Halloween. Yes. The third film in this now convoluted mess of a timeline to be called Halloween ignores everything that came before, except for the original, and picks up 40 years after Laurie Strode survived a vicious attack from crazed killer Michael Myers on Halloween night. Locked up in an institution, Myers manages to escape when his bus transfer goes horribly wrong. Laurie now faces a terrifying showdown when the masked madman returns to Haddonfield, Illinois, but this time, she's ready for him. Jamie Lee Curtis, Nick Castle, and the legendary John Carpenter all make their returns for this new installment. Jamie Lee reprises her role as Laurie Strode to once again set the series back on track. Nick Castle takes up the iconic mask and coveralls for a few key scenes, and Carpenter returns in a producing capacity and alongside his son, creating a brand new score for the film. Part of me kind of wishes they had cast Danielle Harris to play Laurie's daughter in this one, though I can understand why they didn't, considering that Danielle still looks really young for her age. And it would have been harder to believe that she herself has a teenage daughter. We have Will Patton brought in here to fill the shoes of Sheriff Hawkins, taking up the mantle from Lee Brackett and given a backstory that heavily connects him with the original film quite nicely. We are also introduced to a new psychiatrist character that somewhat attempts to fill some of the gaps left in the absence of Donald Pleasance, though he is given a plot twist late in the film that felt utterly needless and exists almost solely to get one character from one place to another so that the climax can take place. It was a scene that almost ruined the movie for me, but thankfully was short-lived and got rectified quickly. Though if looked at in the right light, I guess this twist is interesting in the sense that obsession with any one thing can drive a person to commit unspeakable acts. The one major casting problem I had was with the little boy that one of the characters is babysitting. His performance was just so in your face and fell far too close to the comedy barrier for my taste. In that same regard, I did feel that there was too much comedy woven throughout this script, though it wasn't so much that it really hurt the film. I personally could have just done without a lot of it. They took a lot of care to incorporate as many nods to the franchise as they possibly could fit throughout this film's runtime. They recreate one of the sequences from Halloween 2 during this long and incredibly well-timed tracking sequence. This scene kicks in alongside the revamped Halloween theme and shows Michael recovering his knife, breaking into houses, and dispatching people, feeling much like a kid being set out to play. A group of trick-or-treaters run by in one scene wearing the masks from Season of the Witch. We get a lengthy scene at a gas station that doubles as a place for Michael to reclaim his iconic costume, and as a place to deliver a nod to one of the more memorable scare scenes from Halloween H2O. I also really liked that Michael was in some ways recreating some of his kills. An example would be when he puts the bed sheet over the body. In actuality, studies have shown that some killers try to relive the thrill and the experiences of their kills by recreating them in certain ways. Implementing this sort of grounds Michael closer to reality. I love many of the choices made throughout this film, including the idea of doing away with Laurie's connection to Michael being familial, writing it off as rumor and hearsay. The younger teenage characters in the film provide a nice blend of modern American teens while still maintaining slightly traditional and are never too far over the top. We were also treated to a bit of a role reversal between Laurie and Michael. That is foreshadowed beautifully when we see Laurie standing outside of her granddaughter's school. The climax of the film sees her flipping the script on Michael, vanishing when he throws her off a balcony, and appearing in shadows behind him. The things they did with her character alone gave this film so much. Seeing Laurie living all these years with this fear and paranoia after that night, living her whole life in preparation for his escape, and to some level, hoping for it. In one element, during the dinner scene, they even have her call him the Shape, harkening back to the script of the original film. Though we don't get a real good look at Michael's face, there is no real effort to completely hide it either. However, there is a clear effort to keep his eyes completely hidden, shrouded in the shadow of the mask, leaving us with the blank, emotionless face from the original. The climax of this film pits a lifelong victim against the monster that she has always feared, and ends with the perfect level of ambiguity that places it on par with the original story, and pays homage to the films that came before it, and made this one possible, while expanding the mythology in a new and more appropriate direction. This is a true Halloween sequel, the way it should have always been done. I'm giving Halloween 2018 an A+. Guys, if you missed this one in theaters and you're a lover of the original film, then this is one installment that you need to see. For all of those who have, I would love to hear your thoughts down below. What do we think of the Halloween franchise as it stands today? How has it impacted you? And where do you think it should go from here? Once again, I wanted to apologize for not being able to bring you something far grander this year for Halloween. However, I do have really big plans in the works for next year, and I hope that you all stay tuned and have a happy Halloween. If you enjoyed today's video, please feel free to let me know. It's just a quick scroll down there to that comment section below. If you're enjoying the channel more than words can describe, shoot me a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe. If you would like to show your support even more, come find ETF on Patreon or Tippy, where every pledge and every tip bring you rewards galore, not to mention allowing me to bring you more films to explore. But all jokes and rhymes aside, if you have any films that you would like me to check out, or that you might like to see reviewed on this channel, feel free to reach out to me here down in the comments, or over on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And I will catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.